What's going on, guys? Welcome to the third episode of Double Dragons with Otaku and Fanboy today. And we're gonna get started with get to know Fanboy a little bit.
Yeah, I invited Fanboy Prime on because he's just a one of my closest community friends, and he has one of the best collections. And I'm just gonna let him kind of introduce, his channel, what he does, and kind of get into the books.
What's up, everybody? Fanboy Prime here. So, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about having a great collection, but
Oh, don't
I'm
be so
always
naughty. You got an
I'm
you
always
got an
jealous of
awesome
everybody
collection.
else's collection. So, Fanboy Prime here, just a South Texas kid that refuses to grow up, even though I just had my 44th birthday. I feel like I was 20, turning 21 just the other day, and it's like 44 already.
Oh man,
Um,
not it.
Comic book collector, mainly DC. You may be able to see a few Transformers back here. Transformer guy. So yeah, um,
Dinobots.
yeah, the Dinobots rock. So I was really disappointed a few years ago. They did a set of Dinobots that wound up turning into a combiner, and so there was one big Grimlock, and then the other parts were little. And I'm like, these are not the real Dinobots. So, so when they released these that are based on the '86 animated movie, I was all about it. So it's really good. I have all five Dinobots now. I still have two to open, so kind of pacing myself with that instead of like ripping open everything right away. Kind of, so I don't buy new stuff every month. Like, oh, this month I can open this toy. So, but thank you guys, appreciate it. I know that last week I missed when you guys were finally together on because I know that
Yeah. I forgot
Jeff
about the World Series. I
Jeff had gone
forgot.
on. But you were showing great books.
Yeah,
Your Vampy books, like all the. I love those like painted covers. It's fantastic stuff.
yeah.
And I was here at the start when y'all went, live together. But because I'm up so early, I crashed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I did. Y'all did y'all's spec and flex books, and then I kind of fell asleep while watching the show. So. I am more of a DC guy, being a huge Superman fan. I fell in love with the character of Superman. Uh, as far as comic wise, Death of Superman. It all happened at the same time. There was that '90s comic boom. My little town that hasn't had a comic book store in probably 25 years had three or four at that time. There's some people that tell me there was four. I only knew of three of them. And so the '90s were huge for comics. They get
Right.
crapped on a lot. The '90s books get crapped on a lot, and in some cases, rightfully so. Um, but when I look back at the '90s, I have a great appreciation for it. I love that DC took chances. They cut off Aquaman's hand; he had a hook hand for a while. Uh, they they broke Batman's back and replaced him with Jean Paul. They killed Superman, replaced him with four Superman. Replaced Green Lantern. Hal Jordan went crazy. I know there's some things that happened to Wonder Woman that I have yet to discover. I know there was some things that they played with their characters and they weren't afraid to do that. And I think nowadays, and of course now I'm preaching comics right now. But I feel like nowadays it's like, no, we got to protect the IP. Let's not take chances. And I think that's why you're seeing a growth in the growing indie market. Those books are kind of taking precedence or a greater section of people's collecting because, or at least if reading, the guys who read, there's some that collect just to collect, but then there's the ones who collect because they read and they enjoy the stories. I think the indie books, because you're not beholden to a character's 80-year 50-year legacy. You can actually you know kill off a character and or change the character completely. He undergoes something, and the story can continue to be told, and it doesn't have to revert back to that after the 6 issue storyline is done, so that we can put a trade out.
Yeah. No, I think,
but
in terms of quality, like the '90s just brought comic books to a whole. Hey, Log, what's up? It just brought it. It just upped the game for everybody, like art wise, story wise, and really we're kind of reaping the benefits of it today because it's a progression, right? If the '90s didn't happen, the quality of comic books, I think it's fallen off a little bit, to be honest. Like what they were doing in the '90s, like especially at Marvel and DC, like you mentioned, they just were pumping out so many books, but every storyline had like, such a commitment to like quality and detail and just really kind of, having the audience come back next issue, whether it's killing off people or, like Wolverine. They ripped the animanium out of Wolverine, right? You wanted to come back and see what happened to that character.
I was about to say, I only covered the things that the DC was willing to do with their characters. Marvel, the Clone Saga, for all its for all the hate it gets, it was still a pretty ambitious storyline. Ripping out Wolverine's adamantium. Here, you're possibly messing with the most popular comic book character in the world. I mean, his 181 is a top Grail book. This is a big time character. Oh, let's take out one of the coolest things about him. Yeah, he's gonna have bone claws, but it's not the same. So yeah, in the '90s took chances, and I think that's kind of missing nowadays.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I don't want to be one of those old guys, get off my lawn and stuff like that, but it's it's just what I fell in love with at first, and it's like the great appreciation then. Now I am one of the guys that has fallen in and out of comics a few times. And so
we all have,
right. It happens. You just get sick of it, or you just feel like I'm buying these books just to buy them. I'm no longer enjoying them or whatever.
Right.
And we step out for a while and we come back. So when my return to comics was right around 2004, 2005, got in touch with my friend Nightwing 207. You may have seen him there on the channel, Otaku. And he started lending me a bunch of books to read. And one of those storylines that really got me into it, and you were talking about it the last day I was at work. I don't know if it was Thursday night or Wednesday night. Hush. He lent me the Hush storyline. I was like, man, Jim Lee art, fantastic. Jeff Loeb, just a great story. Going through all of Batman's Rogue Gallery, and I was hooked. He lent me the Hush storyline. He lent me a bunch of Superman books. Jeff Loeb was writing the Superman title at the time, and some JLA books, the Tower of Babel storyline, and the Obsidian Age, this Obsidian Age storyline. Just fantastic stuff. And so, if he had let me Marvel books, maybe I would have come back and become a big time Marvel guy. But he's always been a Batman guy, so his love was DC, and that's kind of, I had that previous experience with the Death of Superman. So I went back right into DC, and it's just it's grown from there. So if you kind of remember mid 2000s, DC was doing the build up to Infinite Crisis, and so that's like my bread and butter of my collection. I'm trying to get every issue that ties into Infinite Crisis, officially and unofficially. And the books, there's a website, readingorders.net or readingorders.com, and if you go through the timeline, it's like the countdown to Infinite Crisis. And Infinite Crisis. It's like 300 books or something like that. And maybe I oversaid that. Maybe it's only like 200. I don't know. But I'm like 7 issues away from completing that. And when it's done, I'm doing my like major read through of it all.
Nice. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's another thing the '90s kind of introduced is the crossover, like the Marvel or DC universe crossovers, where it literally ties in every character, every book, right? It's like you got inklings of that in the 80s, but the 90s is where they took it to the next level to, like really, I think they made a formula of it, and then it's carried over since. So yeah, definitely.
Both positive and negative, because if you're collecting one character and then you're like, oh, this is a huge story, you feel like I gotta go get this book and I gotta get this book, which that can run people off. It's right now. It's easy because I'm going through back issues, and I'm cheap. I'm like a dollar bin guy, and if I can find it in the dollar bins, like, oh man, absolutely. Now, some of the books I'll show here in a bit, yeah, I didn't find these in the dollar bin. I would have loved to, but.
So you talked a little bit. You're trying to collect specific, I guess, storylines. Right now, you mentioned Infinite Crisis. But let's get to the core of what you collect, because I really think it's not only one of the best, like, from a hobbyist standpoint, from a collector standpoint, it's one of the best things to go after. It's also one of the most, like, challenging in my view.
Which one are you talking about? Because there's the triangle number hunt I've done. Trying to get every triangle number / sealed number. There's one book left.
Okay, yeah, but that's what I wanted to get. Yeah, that's what I wanted you to talk about, the triangle books.
So it starts with the triangle numbers. Let me see if I have a triangle number book. I'm sure I have one laying around somewhere. Not, I got one over here.
I can't believe you're one book away from completing that.
So that's like a 536.
That's what I'm talking about.
534 book collection. Because you got to remember the triangle numbers ran from 1990 to like 2002.
Wow.
Are you familiar with what the triangle numbers are, Jeff?
Kind of. Not really.
Okay, so here is a triangle number right there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
So what it was is 90s DC. There were 3 Superman titles at the time. It was Action Comics, it was Superman, and it was Adventures of Superman. And, they're telling stories. This is from about 87, we'll say 87. It's right after Crisis on Infinite Earths. They reboot the universe. You got the Man of Steel miniseries, and then you have Superman, Adventures of Superman. The old Superman title ended at 323, but it carried on as Adventures of Superman with 424, famous cover where he's holding the...
He's got it.
Adventures of Superman 424, famous cover, he's holding the eagle. So that was originally volume 1 of Superman. And then the new Superman title, volume 2. Yeah. So the writers kind of got together and they were continuing storylines. Well, they then said, well, let's make a concerted effort to we're going to tell a story. And at the time, it was just 3 books. They would add Superman, the Man of Steel, so it would become 4 books. And most months you have 4 Wednesdays. And so basically they were releasing Superman stories weekly, but it was continuing on. So you had Triangle number 1, which started with Superman 51. Next book would be Adventures of Superman, whatever number. And that would be Triangle number 2, Triangle number 3, and Triangle number 4. It's basically giving you the reading order for 4 different titles. Like I said, that carried on from, I think maybe 91. I don't think, maybe it was 90, but I think it was 91 to about 2002.
Yeah.
And so I just decided one day, because I watched a Super Russ 9000 video and he was showing all these 90s books. He was showing all these 90s books, and I said, I'm going to go collect that. Maybe not the right thing to do. But luckily Superman books in the 90s really overprinted. So you are able to find them in the dollar bins. And and so right now it's just, I find the book, I put it away. So when I eventually do my read through, if I have a beat up copy, okay, it's time to upgrade this copy. I'll put a little bit more money into it. So yes, that's one. Well, that's 2. The Infinite Crisis and the Triangle numbers are like 2 of my 3 big hunts. My 3rd big hunt is Death of Superman. The Death of Superman. Getting every print of every book in the Death of Superman.
Where are you with that?
So I need a few newsstands from the Funeral for a Friend. First appearance of Doomsday, I think, has 5 printings, and I think I have 3 of the 5.
Okay.
And so that will be something I need to get. Luckily, I don't have to get any more of the DC Universe logo variants. I've gotten all those books. Yes. Those are
Death of
the
Superman. I recall they launched. Are you trying to get like the low print like promo signature books, those kinds of things?
No, if I could just get every book proper, like if I come across a signature book, I add it to the collection, but it's not on my checklist of hey, I need this version. Like I don't need a second print with a signature on it. I don't need a third print with a signature on it. If I come across it, hey, that's a cool addition to the collection.
Right. Okay.
But yeah,
you're just sticking to the printings and the variants.
Yeah, and by that I mean like newsstand, direct, second print, and if it goes to third or fourth, yeah, doing all that.
Cool.
That's been fun, but that has also been the first time I've ventured into spending more than $20 for a book. I've never been a big spender when it comes to comics, just because they're paper. But well, I got a funny story. Maybe I'll tell it when we get to the Flex books or something.
All right.
It involves my biggest comic purchase of all time.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Completely on accident.
Yeah.
Completely on accident. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see what books you have for us.
This, you want me to just show like recent pickups before we get into the spec and all that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is I picked this up it's maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, because my wife and I, we do cover battles on my Saturday morning stream.
Mm-hmm.
And that week we did battles, like had to be a battle cover, whether they're actually fighting or they're standing off face to face or whatever. We did battle covers as the theme. And so I picked this World's Finest 180 up.
Oh yeah, nice.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm a Batman hater.
We're on the same page, man.
I'm a Batman hater and a Superman lover, so I thought this was the perfect book to show. The week before, I had battled DJ Wise, and he was doing Batman covers, and I was doing Superman covers, and I regretted that I skipped. I regretted that I skipped buying this because I had seen this either the day before we were going to do the battle or the Thursday before, and so I was like, nope, I can't skip out on it again. It was a $15 pickup. This particular store, it's Heroes and Fantasies in San Antonio, notorious for charging a little bit more than they need to per book, but just such a cool cover and Neil Adams greatness. So I couldn't pass on it.
I got a great deal on that book, to be honest. Is that like higher grade?
The only issue that I really see, other than regular age on it, is right here in the bottom. It is like almost rubbed white, and I don't know if you can.
Oh yeah,
kind of
you can see it a little
worn
bit,
out there. Yeah. But other than that, like I'm very happy with it. It's a really nice book. So yeah. So I picked that up. This is one of the two books today. The other book I'll do is my spec book later on. But it's it's Superman Adventures 31. It's from the animated series.
Yeah.
I've collected. So my real goal for Superman, and just the triangle numbers happen to be a part of it, is I want to get all the Superman books after Crisis on Infinite Earths to Infinite Crisis. There's a podcast that's called From Crisis to Crisis, and they basically cover all the Superman books from that point. That's pretty much what I'm collecting. So I'm pretty close to finishing all that. So the next logical step was, let me get the animated series books. And if you guys know Tim, the comic collector, he did a short or a video where he showed off his Superman Adventures books, and I was like, dang it, Tim, you just put the bug in my ear. So
I love that animated series, by the way. It was really
good. Awesome stuff, right? What I really loved, I thought they really hit their stride when they got to Justice League Unlimited, just like especially the first season. I just thought it was great. We have the Lex Brainiac combination together. Like, oh man, it was so good. This is a book that I recently picked up. I did not know it existed. It's part of my Death of Superman collection. This is the Legacy of Superman #1. It's a one shot. So what this did was after Superman died, it basically covered his supporting cast. And so like when I read this when I was a kid, I didn't understand it. I thought it was boring. Now when I go back and go through my Superman read through, now I know who now I can't think of his name. Now I know who Sinbad is. Now I know more about Guardian. I know more about Gangbuster. I know more about Rose and Thorn. I know more about Rave Rider now, So like this book is it'll mean more now when I read through it. But this one I did not know existed because it's a second printing. Ooh. This book is extremely, extremely hard to find. If I go look through the sold listings, I only see like 2. And when I say that, I'm talking about at eBay. I only saw 2 on eBay sold listings. There's 2 that I have seen right now that are listed. One is ungraded. It's listed for $500. The other one is graded and it's listed for $300.
Wow.
I went to a certain website. I'm not going to say that because I got to keep some things in my pocket. And I found it for $15. So
nice.
Other than those 3 listings, the $500, the $300, and the $15 one, this book is a ghost.
Wow.
Yeah. So Scoons Comics. I don't know if you guys know Scoons Comics. He made me aware of this list. He texted me and he sent me a picture of this book. And I'm like, The Legacy of Superman. I'm like, why is he sending me a picture of that? He's like, dude, I'm so excited to have this book in my collection. I'm like, dude, I see that in the dollar bins. He's like, the second printing? And then it snapped into my head. I was like, oh, I didn't know there was a second printing. And so really, really excited to have
printing is there's a 2 and also the Superman is
right.
Is white.
So I believe that the Superman right there, the Superman text is yellow on the original.
Yeah.
And then you can see the Roman numerals there. Yeah. Did not know it existed. Book's over 30 years old. Did not know it existed at all. It was not on my hunt list. So now the $300, the $500 price point, it's meaningless to people who don't collect the Death of Superman. But for us that collect it, we're like, dang, how am I going to figure out, or how am I going to get this book without paying that much for it? Luckily, like I said, I found it in relatively good shape. Some of the pages are turning off white, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy to have it in the collection. Whenever I flip through, when I finally finish it all, I'll know I worked hard for that book.
No, that's an awesome book, dude.
That's pretty much it on my recent pickups. I've kind of slowed down as we round out to the end of the year. Now I do have one more recent pickup, but it's part of the 3 books we'll show here. Two of the 3 books I'm going to show are books that I got today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just worked out that way.
All right, so let's get into then. So, are you done showing off books, or are you gonna?
I mean, I have a stack here if you really want me to show off books, but I mean, there's nothing special about it, but this was on my top 10 books to get this year, so I was really happy to get this. This is and I think I told you about this. Well, that Mylar makes it look so much better too.
Mylar makes everything look better.
Yes, man. It does. Yes, it does. My wife wants me to wear a Mylar bag over my face when we're. But this book I got for under $3 because I bought like an 80 book lot. And so,
oh yeah, I remember that lot.
Yeah, you were telling me that was a great haul.
You got each book for like $3 or something like that.
It was like 2 something. Yeah, so I was, and this book was on my hunt list for 2024, my top 10 hunt books, and I think I've picked up 5 of them. I have to go back and rewatch that video, but yeah, I was real happy to get that one. Beautiful. That was
that's a beautiful
book. Randomly, I have a Transformer book with the Constructicons that I don't remember why this wound up. Oh, you know what? Because the wife and I were doing green skin for a cover battle.
Okay.
And so I was going to cheat by having the Constructicons, which speaking of like the Transformers, how the Dinobots from the animated movie got a upgrade. There's the subline of the Transformers, the studio series, what they call it. So originally it was for the live action movies, the Michael Bay movies. Then they started releasing the animated characters. They're going to do the Constructicons.
Oh, nice.
In that style, and they will combine. So I've already pre-ordered 2 of the pieces, 2 of the components off of Big Bad Toy Store. So really looking forward to putting that together.
That's what I loved about that Transformers. You know, I guess they were. Was that the second season the Constructicons were introduced?
Yes. Well, no, it's technically at the end of the first season, but like
at the end of season 1, right?
Yes, there's like 13 episodes for season 1.
The toys were out. Like the Dinobots and the Constructicons were out at the same time. And I just remember, like, where else are you gonna, like, having like 5, you know, construction vehicles turned into this massive, like, robot,
giant to fight dinosaurs.
Like,
to fight dinosaurs
as like as a young kid. And so I just was like, yeah, that's just the best.
I try to watch the cartoons that kids have nowadays, and I mean, of course, I'm an adult, right? So I have different eyes now. But man, dude, the '80s was just such an awesome time to be alive. Like, oh man, how's it going? From having He-Man run around in his underwear with his sword and going and destroy everything, fighting a guy that has a skeleton for a skull for a face. You had G.I. Joe, which, man, it's nothing I really show off on the channel because I don't really have them anymore. But growing up, G.I. Joe was the toy line that we started off as kids that kind of extended the longest. I mean, we had so many of the vehicles, and we got my brother, myself, and my cousin. We got lucky because my grandfather owned a snow cone stand here in town. And I say we got lucky. He got free, cheap labor, right? Well, I guess it wasn't free because he paid us. He paid us under minimum wage, but we had, the summer job, and so we were always buying GI Joe, the figures, the Cobra and GI Joe, and then the vehicles, man. And
nice.
So cool putting the vehicles together back in the day.
Those were the best vehicles, man. They were actually like working vehicles,
Your instruction booklet was like a blueprint, so it was good stuff.
Yeah.
So this is from the same pile, the Greenskin, the world's finest, 284 and 283.
Nice.
I'm a big fan of Composite Superman just because of how ridiculous it is. Like, why? Who thinks this up? But the Silver Age was a wild time, and so I love that. Let's see what else I got. Oh, I wound up with 2 of these books. I don't know how, but I love it. Let me show some Marvel just because, right? It's such a great cover.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bronze Age probably has the best covers. I don't know. I'm not really big on moderns. I know that Jenny Frisian is like everybody's favorite, and I like some of the covers, but there's just something awesome about it. I like Art Germ. Like half the time I hate the covers, and then half the times I'm like, okay, that's a pretty nice cover. Here's a pretty awesome story.
Nice.
For the man who has everything. That's my son's favorite episode of Justice League. He really liked Mongol.
Nice.
This would have been a good book to show off for Halloween. This is the Action Comics 45 during the New 52 Monster of the Month cover.
Oh, that's cool.
Cave for Krypton.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Got that classic.
Like a
film. Yep.
The old movie poster. Yeah, love that. We'll go with another one of their movie covers. This was the Superman, but done like Superfly. And these are not books I brought out. It just happened to be in the room. Here we go. Here's some Art Germ.
Oh man, that'll get me every time. I actually want to collect all of Art Germ Supergirl covers. I want to pick them all up.
Someone once described Art Germ's covers as soulless art.
Not those Supergirl covers. Those Supergirl covers get you going, man.
I didn't disagree with him, but I didn't agree with him either. Dude, I loved these, and I need to go collect. This was a recent. This was
Oh
this was
man.
this year when they did the. Who was this? Luis Garcia, I believe.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yes, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. Yeah, the in-house art style. Like, how great is that?
Nice. I gotta get that. Seriously.
I think they did Superman, Batman, Green Arrow, Wonder Woman, maybe Shazam. There were 6 or 7 characters they did. I just had one I was gonna show because I figured you'll like it, Otaku.
Oh, of course, yes.
Did this make your top 25 Superman covers?
Yeah. I mean,
They did.
All the ones from that run are great. That's what 6.
This is 205.
Oh, sorry, 205.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Batman books being in the 600s.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was 204 to I think 215. Here's another book that you might like.
Oh yes. I just covered that recently.
My friend tried to give me the sketch cover for this.
That's a big one.
And I turned it down.
Why?
and he no longer owns that book. What was I thinking?
That's a big one, the sketch one.
Yeah, it is. And then you wound up with this one too, right? Yeah.
You put that on my radar, and I had to go out and get it. I got it.
Yeah, I found this one in the dollar bins, and I was like, oh, and I was good. I was willing to send you this because it was like I said, it was $1 pickup. But
it's such a dope cover.
You wound up finding it.
Play on the original, right?
Yes. Yeah. Good stuff. And then this was a book I showed that didn't get much love in the battles cover battle was the Thor and Hulk.
Oh, nice.
I picked this up for $2. Yeah, $2 at a half price books. They had it behind the counter. They had it so at this location they put it behind a glass case. They only had it listed for $2. I don't know why it was behind the glass case. I don't know if an employee was trying to hide it there, like he would come back and buy it later. But I was like, oh, I can't. My son is sorry, Jeff. My son is a huge Hulk fan, and so I'll buy him cool Hulk covers. And so one of his favorite things from the MCU is the Hulk versus Thor fight from the from the first Avengers movie, but he really likes it in Ragnarok as well. So I thought this was a good book that I had to get him for his for the collection I'm putting together for him.
No, that's anytime you have like two big, superheroes.
Behemoths go, yeah. And then he likes Rhino too. He likes the big, bulky characters. So got him. This Rhino cover made its way into my collection, and it's when I find things that I have, and I'm like, okay, I'll set this aside for him.
Yeah.
And I believe my wife said the other day he read his first comic on his own. Like, he always wants me to read, but he did it on his own, and I don't remember what. I don't know if it was a Ninja Turtles book. He read something though, and it was while I was asleep for work. I work overnight, so I miss a lot of things, and so. But I thought it was pretty cool. I used
to work overnights too, man. So I understand the pain.
Dude, it's So my long-term memory is awesome. I remember a lot of things from my childhood, from high school, from even 5 years before I started overnights. I've been overnights for about 10 years now.
Yeah.
My short-term memory is trash, and I always get in trouble. My wife's like, "I told you," and I'm like, "I don't remember."
Yeah. You're always like, we're in the same boat, man. My wife's impression of me is like, where are my keys? Where are my keys?
Yes. That happens far too often.
She's always asking me, but do you have your wallet? Do you have your keys? Do you have your phone?
Oh man. So her family for a time lived 2 hours away. We made it about 30 minutes into the trip before I realized I had to turn around and get back around and get my wallet because I left it. Thankfully, we stopped to pick something up to eat, and I couldn't pay for it because I didn't have my credit card.
What? So, okay, one time we went to Red Robin, then we went to Chuck E. Cheese, and then came back home. And I didn't have, I was like, oh, shoot, I don't have my wallet. And I knew I had it on me because I had paid for, all the stuff. And my wife's like, Oh man. So basically I went drove back and like none of them had it. None of the restaurants had it. They didn't pick it up or anything. And I just said, okay, call me if you find anything. And then I parked back home. I came back home kind of dejected, right? And then I look down where, the little crevice between the door and the seat.
Yeah.
And there's
Oh yeah,
right there.
I know that crevice quite well for similar reasons. It's amazing where the wallet can fall, and you're completely blind to it. It's like a snake in the grass, just camouflaged.
Yeah. My wife was just like, "You're an idiot."
That's pretty much it for the books I got to show. Other than, like I said, I just have these laying around. I don't know.
No.
Oh, are those originals or reprints?
No, these are originals.
Ooh,
that
book is gonna
these I was gonna use these for my Flex book, so that's why they're out.
Okay,
but something came in the mail today that I'll use as my Flex book instead.
Well, that's a good Flex book.
So one of them I bought at a comic show for $10 because I was like, oh man, if I can get another copy of it, that's great. The other one I bought directly off the shelf because I thought it was really cool. Honestly, so my friend used to work for Antarctic Press. I don't know if you guys know Antarctic Press.
Yeah.
They're based out in San Antonio, right? So we were living in San Antonio at the time. Moved up there with my friend. We went our separate ways for a while, but I knew he was working at Antarctic Press. When I opened the book, when I opened Invincible #1, it starts off and it's a similar sequence that my friend described to me one time from his own, doing some artwork and storytelling. And I was like, is this his book? Is he just writing or drawing under a different name? So I bought the book, found out it wasn't him. It wasn't him. But then I just fell in love with the story, and I was like, dude, I tried to tell everybody I knew, like, get on Invincible, and look at it now, dude. It's on Prime and killing it. So yeah, so that's one of my my proud geek moments is I saw the greatness of Invincible before a lot of other people did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big book. It's going to get bigger. So it's a big book now, but it's going to get bigger too.
Yeah, when it comes to live action, but it's
live action will shoot it up into
even more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be like the new generation's Star Wars or whatever. Probably it'll be big.
It was just such a fun read, man. Such a fun read, and I don't know. And it was nice that you had a whole universe in one book. Now, of course, it eventually branched out, but so much happened in this one little book, and good stuff.
All right, we're gonna do our spec rec flex corner here, and basically, we're just a couple episodes into Double Dragons, but this is our weekly sort of corner where we show off 3 books. One is a speculation book, one is a recommendation book, things we think you should probably go out and collect, something that I guess represents what we each collect, but you would recommend this to another collector. And then the last one is a flex book, just a book you want to show off. So Fanboy Prime, since you are our guest, why don't you show off your speculation book first?
All right, I'm not a big spec guy. I'm not. I'm not. So I'm kind of reaching here, and hopefully this works. This is a book I picked up today. I got it for $2 at Half Price Books, but this is like my 3rd copy of it. Even Manny the Hobgoblin Collector is one that sent me a copy of this book. Actually, I'm going to show off his copy that he sent me because it's the best copy I have. It's Birds of Prey #76.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first appearance of Black Alice.
Oh.
And so she's a character that can, she doesn't steal their powers, but she can gain the powers of any magic user. And I feel like she's a potential, especially because like the way they write her or whatnot. I mean, I don't know a whole bunch about her. What I read is tied in with Infinite Crisis, but she just seems like a character that James Gunn can play with a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't, at least early on. I don't know. She could be the retcon since then. I'm not really up to date on current books, but some of the time she doesn't know how long she's going to have the power she's borrowed or whatever. She doesn't know how long she'll have it. So she could be in the middle of a fight and lose her powers, right? And then get a different magical power. So no, one time she had the power of like Black Adam, and so she has that kind of range with her power. I don't know if it was the Day of Vengeance miniseries leading into, like I said, Infinite Crisis, or it was the Shadow Pack series after Infinite Crisis, but they once referred to her as one of the most powerful characters dealing with magic, and I don't remember exactly the way it was said, but the seeds were planted, right? It's DC planting seeds that this could be a big time character in our books later on. So just a cool character. I thought Black Alice, being a teenage girl, being able to borrow anyone's magic powers. So I think there's funny potential there, movie wise.
I wouldn't disagree with you, man. I think you hit it right on the head in terms of what James Gunn could bring at any, because the whole point of James Gunn is he's not doing one or two movies. He's doing a whole slate of movies, TV shows. He's going to introduce a lot of characters. So yeah, the ones that really kind of resonate in the books are probably fair game.
And this can be found in dollar bins. This the Birds of Prey miniseries. This is January of 2005. So dollar bin books. It's a cheap buy that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be something, but I'm speculating on the character because I think it's pretty cool.
Now we mention it, it's gonna go up to $5.
All right, Jeff, you're up.
All right. Well, I was too lazy to grab the actual one out of the back case, so
we're talking about speculation book, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's Evil Ernie 1. So it's the first appearance of Evil Ernie and Lady Death, but this is the German copy. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that a Chromium cover?
Wow. Yeah, it's from Germany too, and it's foreign, and it's a foreign edition too.
Wow.
But I got the original one. I just didn't want to grab it out of the case because the Lady Death figure would have fell over if I grabbed it and pulled it out of the case.
That's so much better than just the regular Evil Ernie because you got Lady Death on there.
Yeah.
Right.
But issue 2 is issue 2 of that run. It's actually their cover appearance. So, but this is the foreign copy. So,
what year would that be?
93, I think.
93? Nice.
Yeah, 93.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
93 or so. So yeah.
That's a sick.
So
cover,
this is.
Man.
Yeah, this is a German edition. So it's everything that's in this one's in the actual original from. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The whole story is pretty much the original story from the original copy. So it's kind of cool.
Nice.
Yep, that's from Making Friends on YouTube, man. Vigilante. So
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
All right, my speculation book. It's along the lines with kind of where Fanboy Prime was going, and I have kind of my explanation of why. This is already a key. It's a key book, but it's not worth much. You'll probably find it in the dollar bin if you're lucky. I think it books at like 10 or 15, but what we have here is Green Lantern number 50. This is, I think, volume 3.
Nice. Good stuff.
The 90s book. And this is the death of Sinestro and the death of Kilowog in the interiors of this. Now, I don't think the death of Sinestro, I don't think we're ever going to see the death of Sinestro because, the Green Lantern series is coming out. We don't know what to expect, but I highly doubt they're going to kill off the main rival of the Green Lantern Corps, right? But what they most likely will do is kill off Kilowog as just to set that kind of dramatic
supporting characters are fair game.
Dramatic tension in the series off. So
And it's an animal, so
right. He's like an alien that
So
CGI. They'll probably CGI, right? So you're not really.
Is that a glow in the dark cover?
Yes, it's a glow in the dark.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I have one in the collection. So I have. Is it 47? Well, that's number 50. So 49 and 48. I have those in DC Universe logo variants, and like completely just a friend gave me.
In DC logo?
No.
No. Okay.
No. That's on the hunt list, but yeah. It's but given to me by a friend, so yeah, I believe it was Nightwing 207. So,
nice.
Shout out to the guy who got me back into comics. So yeah.
Well, the thing is, I actually got rid of. I had this book previously, and I ended up selling like a bundle of books that I wanted to get rid of, and this was included in that bundle. And then later on I was looking for it. I'm like, did I accidentally did I sell it off? And I realized I had. And so I was like, well, I got to pick that book up again, because it's just a key issue book and I don't collect much Green Lantern, but I figure if there's going to be something you'd want to keep, it's this one. So I went out and got it again, months later.
When is Kyle's first appearance?
It's a little bit after this, right? A little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was at the end of that book. Is it 51 then? I know 51 is his first appearance in costume. I thought 50 was his first appearance, but
is it? No, I don't think I don't think he's introduced in this one yet. I think it's a couple issues after this one.
Okay.
I know that it's the issue where he's where Hal's out on the cover with the building behind him and everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah. I remember it's like the building behind him, and then Hal's on the ground like cursing people.
In agony. He's in agony.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do our recommendation book.
All right. Recommendations
it's a heartfelt. You should go out and get this. Why?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First appearance as Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern 48, as Green Lantern Kyle Rayner, number 50.
Oh, so it is before.
So 48, like you said, the one where he's, Hal Jordan's on the cover. That's it. But 50 is, I guess, him as a Green Lantern.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm guessing that would be, after the Guardians, try to get the Corps to defeat Hal, and they can't. Then they're like, well, here's the last Green Lantern. Because remember, Kyle Rayner was the only Green Lantern for a while there. They got rid of the Corps. So, yeah. All right. So what is the recommendation book?
It's whatever. So it's something in your collection that you think other people should pay attention to. So it could be like a cover, something, I guess something that, just flies under the radar, or it could just be a, well-known book that you think people should just go out and get. It can be anything.
All right. So my recommendation is the Three Kings of the DC Universe logo variants for Funeral for a Friend. This is Adventures of Superman 499 with the DC logo. This is Man of Steel 20 with the DC logo. And this is Action Comics 686 with the DC Universe logo.
The reason I three in the Funeral that are DC logo?
No, there's Superman 77, where Superman's kind of like flying into heaven, is a DC Universe logo, but it's not it's not as hard to get. And then the it's Adventures in Superman 498. It's also a DC Universe logo. It's not as hard to get.
Yeah.
These three though, these are a pain in the butt to get. Now the reason why I say I recommend getting them is because it's becoming more and more well known, the DC Universe logo. It is. But these can still be found in the crevices and corners. Now the reason I say I recommend getting them if you can, if you search for them, it's because recently this book, ungraded, sold for $1,200.
No way.
2 weeks later, this book, ungraded, sold for $600. I don't know why. I feel like something sketchy happened. But for the guys who collect the Death of Superman, we've been talking about it. We're trying to figure out why. Because the copy that sold, not a 9.8, not an ungraded 9.8. Like it was beat up. The one I have is probably 9.2. But the one I'm telling you, the one that sold for 1,200, it had its flaws. The one that sold for 600, it had their flaws. So
the next one too is in the hundreds too, right? The Supergirl cover, the DC
the Supergirl, that's about a $250 book.
Yeah, it's a $250 book.
Depending on who you
yeah, I
who's selling it, whatnot.
A while back, and I just remember like, dang, I'm not paying. I'm not paying like. I think the guy wanted like $350 for it, and I was like, no, I'm not paying $350 for that book. But
I paid under. Oh no, this is part of the story that I'm going to tell in a bit. Never mind. Well, yeah, no. I'll tell you the next round. Tell you this next round. It's one of my 2/3 most embarrassing comic book collecting stories ever.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not on the. It's not. I mean, a happy accident. We'll call it. Did that work, or do I need to recommend something else? Reading wise.
All right, Jeff, you're up.
Well, reading wise, I recommend Superman #1. It's got a doomsday level fight, and you're showing Green Lantern. You know where Kyle Rayner takes over.
Yep.
Something happens in this issue that directly affects 90s DC Comics. So because Superman does something in this book, something else happens, and something else happens, and something else happens, and something else happens.
I'm curious now. I got to talk to you about that later.
Okay. Yeah. But
that's Metallo, by the way. Yeah.
That is Metallo. This would be first appearance of post-crisis Metallo, but they've kind of changed him so many times that it doesn't possibly hold up. But it's a yellow cover. Mm-hmm. It's John Byrne art inside. Doomsday level fight.
Absolutely.
Before the New 52, there was only 2 Superman #1s. Now there's like 7. So
you must have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Sorry, Jeff, I interrupted you. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. No worries. Mine is Donny Cates' God Country. So it's not under God Country, but good. One of my favorite reads. So
can you open up and show a couple of the pages in interior?
Yeah.
This is like a trade paperback. What is it?
Yeah, it's a trade paperback. It's actually a hardcover that came out at New York Comic Con when the issues came out a while back. So it's a hard to get, but I had Donnie sign it, and he drew
nice.
And he drew the sword in it and everything too. Cool. But yeah. But if you lost a parent, if you lost a parent or you lost somebody, man, this book actually helps. It actually hits home. You know what I mean? So, yeah, artwork wise, is really nice too.
That's something you picked up in New York, or you had it?
Oh,
you bought it after the fact.
After the fact, I found a couple of friends that went and actually got it.
Gotcha.
So.
Nice.
So.
Good to have friends.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Good to have friends in the comic book community, man. I tell you.
Yeah.
A nice little read there. You know, just one book.
Was it maybe 5 years ago? Donny Cates was basically writing the Marvel Universe for a while there. He was had his hands just about everything, didn't he? Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
That's where that's one of the books that started it.
He got to start. Yeah.
Venom universe to the screen now.
Right. Nice.
Yeah. All right. The election is just around the corner. I wasn't going to make this a political.
Oh, here we go.
Politics or anything, but
show's going off the rails.
Well, obviously we don't like either candidate. It's pretty much a consensus across the country, right? So why not elect Captain America?
I love it.
He's the people's choice, right? So You were mentioning John Byrne. This is just as good as it gets with John Byrne art. I got this for a quarter because it's just a ratty copy, but I don't care. It's good enough for me.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's what's cool about this is it's just such an American, it's such an American cover here. U.S. elections. So there you go. Timely recommendation if you're into like presidential books. I know like there's the Barack Obama like cover. There's a bunch of Trump covers as well. So just if you like that kind of thing, I'll recommend you add this to your list.
I can't say I've ever read an issue of Captain America on its own, but like that time period that you're showing is like, if I ever do, it's gonna be around that time period.
Right.
It's cool stuff. Cool stuff. All right, so
we're our flex book. We got to flex a little bit muscle here.
Okay,
we can. This is a video's going out, so I know Fanboy's big into doing the cover. Cover battles. So we can make this flex book, this last one, a cover battle here, and have people in the chat vote for their choices on who won. And we'll come back in here and see who has the most votes.
My cover's no good. But all right, so this is because I said I would show two flex books. There's one that's really well known, and then there's the flex that it's only a flex if you collect this. So this is Adventures of Superman 523. This is a know-nothing book, except it has that DC Universe logo variant, right?
Nice.
This is one of the hardest DC Universe logo variants to get. There's an offer on the table for me to sell this book for $400.
Wow.
This is, like I said, it's a know-nothing book. It's an ugly cover.
Yeah.
It's an ugly cover, but that DC Universe logo variant makes it beautiful. And so, because it's one of the rarest DC Universe logos, this is my flex book, my unknown flex book, I guess. So when I bought this, or how it came into my collection, is there was a 14 book lot on eBay for DC Universe logos. It was at like $100. I was like, oh man, if I could win this. It went up to 200 on the last day, and I was like, okay, if I can win this, that would be great, because I still needed this book. This was the last DC Universe logo variant I needed for my Death of Superman collection. I was like, I'll bid $400. I don't care. I'll bid $400.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm wrong. At the time, it was still only $120. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think of how it went. No. Okay, yes. It was at like $100. It was at $200. I was like, I'm going to bid $400 and I'm going to win this book, because that's kind of what this book would cost on its own. I'll bid $400 for this book, and I'll get a bunch of other books. So when I went into eBay, put my $400, price in, click it, and the auction ends, and I see that it went for like $1,200.
Oh no!
Yeah, I forgot the decimal point, so instead of bidding $4,000, I bid $40,000. I mean, instead of bidding $400, I bid $40,000.
4,000.
No. I bid $40,000.
And so you got the for 1,200.
Because you got to remember, it would keep climbing if people bid over 1,200.
Yeah.
So the bid price that the highest person had before me was like $1,150, but I bid $40,000, so it put it at 1,200.
Yeah.
And luckily, I always bid with like 10 seconds left. Or
well, you're lucky somebody bid for you. For like
you're dang right I am. That's right, dude. Dude, you should have. From the disappointment of not winning the auction to the, I did win it. Like, my heart sunk. And then how am I going to tell the person like, hey, I didn't mean to bid that much. The auction really should have only ended at $700 or however much. It's like that wasn't going to fly. So
Yeah.
I PayPal credited that bad boy and paid it out over 6 months. I got my Death of Superman Action Comics Adventures of Superman $4.99 DC Universe logo variant. And I went and did research on all the books I had, and so it turned out that this one was extremely, extremely hard to find. So
I think you made out pretty good on that one.
Overpaid for it, but
yeah,
I'll tell you this: if I get this book graded 9.6 or 9.8,
so nice. Yeah, do it.
Embarrassing. Don't forget the decimals. Some little small thing.
Well, at least you didn't. At least you didn't butt by it. So
that's happened before too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, that was
flex plan. Well, I mean, I'm just glad you didn't. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't get to a situation where, like, it would lead to, you you losing other things.
Believe me, I thought about it. I was like, I'm not going to pay for that, and I'm just going to lose this eBay account. I will, I'll never use this account again. But I sat and thought about it, and I realized that that was on me. It's my fault. I'm going to put the seller in a situation where he tries to have to ask the next highest bidder. Well, it went for this much. Can you pay this much? And so I owned up to my mistake, and luckily I'm in a position where I can afford to pay that off over 6 months, not in one go round, but in 6 months. So, all right. So my other flex book, and this just came in the mail today. This is more well-known flex. It's this is the platinum edition of Superman 75. And I found this graded. So this book, if you look on eBay, and eBay's the easiest market for us all to compare because it's one we can all reach, right? $250 for a bagged copy of the platinum edition. I would take an unbagged, but I can't ever find them.
We got to back up a little bit. Did you bought this graded or did you get it graded?
I bought it graded.
Okay.
Bought it graded because I found a graded copy for cheaper than a bagged copy. The bagged copy, you never know the condition of the book, right? Scoons Comics, I've mentioned him earlier, sent me a picture because he bought himself an unbagged one. And I was like, oh, dude, that's so awesome. I'm jealous. I need to get on it because this was part of my top 10 books to hunt for the year of 2024. So last Sunday, he sends me a picture and it's like, hey, there's an 8.0 going for $150. And I said, well, for $50 more, I found a 9.6.
No way.
So a 9.6 for $200.
No way.
There's a 9.4 selling that's priced at $350 or $300. So
no, I know
9.6 for $200. I couldn't pass it when I saw it.
Right.
And that is the ultimate book for the Death of Superman.
The platinum, right?
Outside of again some of those rare
logo variants. Yeah. This is like, as far as Superman 75 goes, one of the most overprinted books, or this is the best. This is the one you want for Superman 75. So I guess there was perhaps 10,000 printed. Mine is 1631. Jeez. I don't know. It's got a printing thing on there. So yeah.
Get out of here.
And
you got for 200?
200. I think it's 207, 215 with the tax or whatever it was. Free shipping too.
God, you did such a good deal on that one.
Yeah, and then of course, and I don't know, is it here? Oh, of course, I open it up, right? And Red Hood Comics is going to send me their info. It's like buy direct and save. And so if I had known about their website, maybe I could have found it for a little cheaper.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so this was my flex that people will know about. But yeah, I was really happy to get this came in the mail, and I was counting down because I don't know about spec and I don't know about
That's a gorgeous cover, by the way. Can I just tell you,
dude. Yeah, like oh man, this is the first time I've ever seen a platinum.
Yeah, we know what the standard cover looks like.
Yeah,
but that one's just like, oh, I love it.
Even the regular Tombstone, you know, is awesome, but this is never seen the platinum in person, so yeah.
I give it
up. no. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and like I said, I just happened to see it that day. Was just looking because if he hadn't got one, if he hadn't sent me the picture of the one he got, I probably wouldn't have looked for this, and it's being somebody else's collection. So this will be a PayPal credit, and in 6 months I'll pay it off with $40 a month or $30 a month, however much it takes me to get it done. So.
Well, I want to buy it off you now.
I'm not real big on graded books slabbed, you know, like it's not my thing. I like them raw, but
that's one you want. That's one you want.
Well, you say
bagged, right?
You say you're not into it, and then you see one in your hand, and you're like, "Oh man, it looks so nice in a slab," you know.
Yeah.
So.
No,
that's my flex. So.
Flexing like Kal-El right there.
I figured you would dig that, Otaku. I figured you would dig that one.
All right, Jeff, that's a hard act to follow, man.
I got one. I mentioned this book last week. So this is the Big Trouble Little China one.
Yeah. Ooh,
oh, that is so awesome,
dude. That's man.
Yeah, the Lopan book. So James Hahn actually signed it twice. He signed it here, and then he signed it here.
Okay. Fanboy, I take it back. this is
yeah. So he signed it twice. So he signed it here and here, but we actually mentioned it. It says James Hahn, signed by James Hahn and Lopan.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's the same person
and the actor.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a sick label right there.
Yeah. So
nice.
I guess they assumed this was Lopan or whatever, but it's it's actually just James Hahn's name in Chinese. So that's kind of fun. And mine's the only copy that has it.
But did he write Lopan up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote Lopan up there. Yeah.
So that's what they. So that's why they.
yeah.
Got you. That's awesome.
Yeah, but this is the only copy that has it because everybody else wanted him just to sign James Hahn, and he asked me. He goes, "Do you want me to sign my name in Kanto or whatever?"
That's a 101.
Great idea.
That's a 101.
Great. Yeah, great idea. So that's how that happened. Yeah,
that's a flex.
Awesome, awesome.
Now I got to follow up those two with my book. Jeez.
Is that 2 weeks in a row you showed off a one of one?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think so. Yeah. It's just dashing his 101s. All right. Well, this isn't. I mean, compared to the two books that were shown, this is not that big, but I still, it's one of the darlings of my collection, and essentially what we have here is a signed copy of Batman 608, and this is a trending book right now because Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee are reintroducing the sequel to Hush. They're joining forces again, 22, 3 years later, to give us the next chapter in the Hush saga, which I'm actually really excited about because there aren't too many books that come out where I feel I need to go out and get each issue and read and follow, right? This is one I will be going monthly, weekly, whenever they come out to get the books in this run. And I'm thinking of actually getting a reader's copy and a copy to stash, just for the collection. Because it's just one of those events. But this one is a Dynamic Forces limited to think 3,000 copies,
I know those
signed copies, and
that is
yeah,
that was picked up in New York, right?
it's picked up
When
in New
you
York
were,
for $10.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember you talked about that on one of your lives. That's
yeah,
an awesome get right there.
yeah.
hmm
$10 for this one, and obviously, I mean, Jim Lee.
Cost you
You
less
know
than
how I
mine.
feel about Jim Lee, so for that, or to get this book, um, with the COA from that era is just. But
Good
yeah, I
stuff,
mean, this
man.
was a good Flex edition, man. I didn't expect our Flex books to be so powerful. This was awesome, man. This is why I kind of wanted to hang out with you guys tonight. Like,
Mhm.
you know, um, it's fanboy. I hadn't hopped on a live stream with you in almost like a year. I want to say.
I think the last time was when you and Naman were talking with J80's Hobbies, and
Okay.
then you guys just invited me on, and so I jumped on, and he had to leave, and so we stayed on for maybe another hour,
Yeah.
and just talk
No,
books.
we're both tuned into our channels, but we never really like hop on and like connect, which is kind of why I wanted to, have you on just to,
And
you know,
our schedules, because like
yeah, and
when
our
you're on
schedules,
live,
right?
I'm at work, and so I'll put you to play on, and so
Yeah, and I'm watching you in the mornings, which
yeah, I don't know how you do it. I don't know, because
it's the
I
first
go
thing I'm
online
like
at
just lying in bed, like watching you and listening. So yeah,
because it's early my time, so it would be 7 a.m. for me, 8 o'clock for
at
you,
the
Jeff,
six,
and
yeah,
Yeah.
you over there on the. I feel like the West Coast is like its own world. Um, being so
yeah,
behind, and like so, my closest to ever getting to the West Coast, but I think Vegas is West Coast time, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Pacific time, and so it's quite an adjustment when I go over there, and
Yeah, I know. I moved over there. I moved over there, and then I kept on waking up at 6 in the morning. I'm like, what the hell?
uh, I've done Florida, and I've gone, where I lost an hour,
Yeah.
or it
Right.
goes forward,
Right.
but that's not as big as the other way.
Right.
I'm tired, and everybody else is like, oh, we still have 2 hours of for whatever they're gonna do before they get tired. It's
Right.
because we're at like 10 o'clock at a restaurant. I'm like, man, this is midnight.
Yeah.
I got up early today. It's just I feel like it's a whole different world. Of course, everything you could get to an adjustment to it, I guess, but
It takes
sleep
some
schedules,
adjustment,
dude.
yeah,
Sleep
to get
schedules, man. That's the
get used
hard
to
thing
the
to change.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, so we're gonna now get kind of talk comic book news, things that are kind of tickling your fancy or thing, like whatever headline is
Well, the biggest one is what the heck is the guy's George? What I sent you the
Greg
thing.
Hildebrandt. Greg
Yeah.
Hildebrandt.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
dude. That
posted that
was
one.
man. It's we all reach that point, right, where we pass
Yeah.
away and
He
whatnot.
was in his 80s, and
Right.
his bro. I think we lost his brother before him, before him, so way before him.
Yeah.
So
Rest in peace. We keep losing these legendary artists and
yep.
creatives, but yeah, this one's he's had such an impact on film, comic books.
Pop culture in general, because he's the one
Yeah.
that did the Star Wars posters.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, just from that picture you sent us in the group thing,
Yeah.
that's a well-known image, and we all reach that point. We pass away. I think we all would like to have left some impact on this world, like so we're not going to get to make. I feel like I won't get to make
Well,
as big an impact as this
funny
individual.
story behind that story, anyways, is because Lucas went to Frazetta first and asked Frazetta if he will do it. Frazetta said, "If I don't get to keep the rights, I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
So I guess he went, "Hey, whoever you're gonna get, what blah 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 blah." So he got Hildebrand to do it. So he got him to do it. So I mean, I mean, in the alternate universe, we could have had a Frazetta
Rosetta, yeah.
Star Wars.
No, but that, I mean, obviously that image is going to outlive it.
Right.
It's outliving him. You know, we will see that
Right.
image. Our grandkids and stuff like that. People that will, you know, down our bloodline that we'll never meet. We'll see that image, and so
Right.
he left something that will last, you know, till the end of ages. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
and I can only hope to have a small impact on my corner of the world, and so some people have the opportunity to leave a bigger impact than others. Doesn't necessarily mean it's more important or less important. It's just that's our position in life, and he reached a position and a place in life where artwork that will carry on, man, carry on. So
and I think you touched upon it. Like that's a legacy that will live on well beyond his any of us that people hundreds of years from now will be like, there was an artist, right, who basically promoted one of the biggest box office blockbusters franchises in modern history. So
yeah, he did that. He did a bunch. He did a bunch of fantasy art stuff too.
I was surprised to see him with the comic cards. He did a lot of the comic card art that just was kind of under like what's the word I'm looking at? It's kind of like low key, right? Like you didn't expect his art to be in the comic cards.
Yeah,
but
because
they're actually really nice
cards. It's two people most of all, because Joe Jusko did a set, and then he did a couple, but everybody knows Jusko for doing it because I even asked him the question when I met him in Heroes Con, Joe Jusko. I go, hey, he goes, he would never do it again because the turnaround time for those were short, like super short. Like he said, he pulled all nighters just to get all those everything out. So I can imagine what Hildebrand had to go through just to get it out. So
because you realize it when we look at the cards, we think, oh, it's just like a little image, right? It's like a card size image, but no, I mean they have to do like a full blown sort of like
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize his brother passed away in 2006. So
that's what I'm saying.
18 years, man. I didn't realize it was so long, man. Alive.
Yeah. Yep. So the brother passed first, and then he passed. And they're almost twins, because if you look at it, they're almost they're close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, they were twins. It says.
Okay, they were twins. I thought so.
January 23rd, 1939.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And alive.
Because I got the Masters of Fantasy Art, and they're both of them are in it. So the band, yeah. So because the fantasy artist, there's So other thing besides comic books, I collect.
I didn't. We lost Terry Garr as well. From Tootsie.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Beautiful actress. Such a talented.
Yeah. But
funny.
The older we get, the older they're gonna get. So we're gonna be losing.
Yeah. It's kind of I'm getting to the age where I'm like, geez, it doesn't surprise me. I'm like, oh, we lost.
Yeah.
Who do we lose recently? Like Fernando Valenzuela, right? Like,
that's so crazy that happened right where they're gonna go play in the World Series against the Yankees, the biggest World Series you could possibly have. The two teams, and was it 2 days before the start of the series that he passed away?
Yeah, but there's talk that he was watching over the Dodgers, and some of that stuff that happened with the Yankees, you kind of wonder, like, it was kind of like, was that movie, the Angels
in the outfield?
Angels in the outfield. It was kind of felt like Angels in the Outfield.
that
all those mistakes.
Or could
Yeah.
it be any worse than that than when the Dodger guy went to catch the ball, the damn fan yanked the ball out of the glove.
Man, that's crazy. I'm glad they banned him. You know, don't encourage that activity, man. Don't encourage that activity.
Yeah.
It's like
dude, I saw how dude they grabbed the
this thing.
I'm like,
dude was apparently a hockey buddy of like Gronk.
Yeah, I remember Gronk did mention something like that. It's like a few weeks ago at the University of Texas, the Longhorns playing Georgia, and you know the fans don't like a call that made. They throw beer bottles on the field and stuff like that, and then they changed the call. Well, they changed the call, and like, what precedent did you just set? So then something just happened in Clemson right before we went live, and they were throwing stuff on the field. It's just like, oh man, like, so yeah, it was good that they kicked him out of that game, take away his tickets for the World Series, because you got to be tough on some things.
Yeah, and you got to be better. Tough on something. If you're gonna be a fan, you got to be better than just to go take. Dude, the ball, the ball was in the glove. If it was outside, you know what I mean? If it was outside, like above the fans or something, I would say no, okay, but. It was in the player's glove, and you're yanking it out of the glove.
I'm just glad Mookie didn't get hurt on that play, because he's
grabbing his wrist while he's jumping and stuff. Yeah. But Jeff, you were talking last week about the fights breaking out at New York Comic Con. So here we go. We got that happening in New York. We got fans attacking ball players in New York.
Yeah, because it was the rumor was it was like a seller that ended up getting not even a normal badge, and he walked up to the table or whatever and tried to get books, and the regular people saw, the regular patrons saw him, and they're like, dude, you're a vendor, what are you doing, in the line for normies or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how the fight ended up, dude. Like I said, Peach will never go back to New York if every time she pops up in New York,
you're gonna have something like that happen. Yeah,
or like her getting overwhelmed to get signing things. But Todd McFarlane said it the right way is she comes to sign, she doesn't put a limit on it. At least Todd puts a limit.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they had a signing at CGC with Together, or it was like they were a month apart or whatever. And
Todd's booth Todd's booth, he made a mistake too, because he did the same thing. He's like, I've got 350 copies of this, signed copy of Spawn. I mean, everybody's gonna run to his table. It's like when you announce things like that, you're creating like a stampede to whatever you're trying to give away.
Plus, it's New York on top of that, so it's it's New York Comic Con on top of that. So,
like, who's not going to pay $50 to get like a $300?
And the other big thing is what was it? Venom came out last week, or something like that.
The movie, Did anybody watch it?
I've never seen any of the Venom movies. They've done nothing for me.
What I've been told is a lot. It's overwhelming of symbiotes. That's one problem that everybody has, is it's overwhelming of, like, they introduce all these symbiotes, but they don't no backstory to them. Like, they just throw them at you like, hey, here's all these symbiotes. And no like no backstory, like how
no character development, nothing like that. Right. Yeah, I got you.
Right. I just toss them at you like, hey, you like symbiotes? You like Venom? Here. Like,
yeah.
Well, I think have 100 of them.
It also basically, I think what I heard was it pretty much establishes that we're going to have some kind of Tom Holland Venom black suit moment, right? We're going to have a Tom Holland symbiote.
As long as we don't have him dancing in the street like the last one, we'll be okay.
Oh man, Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi movies were so good, and I remember seeing Spider-Man 3, and I just like, oh man. And so the rumors are the studio put so much more pressure on him, and he just said, okay, fine, we'll make the movie you want. Right. And I don't know, but Spider-Man
Yeah.
1 and 2 still hold up.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 3,
Not
Not so much,
three,
yeah.
not so much.
I've never watched it after seeing it in theaters again. I've seen clips of it, but I've never sat down to watch it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there
I don't know.
anything I guess news related or comic book related that's exciting you or something you want to talk about?
Anything
Sorry,
on
me?
your end?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what? Because I'm not reading current books. I'm just it's not for me, and
Right.
not that they're bad, not that they're whatever. As far as DC, it's just what I'm collecting. There's no room for it right now. But I keep hearing about this Absolute. So is this basically DC's version of having a Ultimate Universe? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's their
Pretty much.
version of Absolute. Yeah, because Absolute Wonder Woman was unexpected, and that sold really well.
Right.
And then Absolute Batman was the first one, and then there's supposed to be I think Absolute Superman, Absolute
Superman.
Green Lantern. I think there's supposed to the big three for sure, but maybe Green Lantern
Yeah,
too.
I want to say I've heard announced Absolute, maybe Martian Manhunter. If not Martian Manhunter, then Absolute Metamorpho. So
yeah, so it's
um,
gonna be interesting.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah,
I hope it works out. Whatever they're doing. I thought when they did the New 52 that they should have not killed off a complete universe. They should have not
Right.
alienated those readers. I thought they should have kept at least 4 or 5 titles that kept, the story since Crisis on Infinite Earths. But I thought Marvel had did it best when they had the Ultimate Universe. What I would have done is I would have never crossed them over. Is the plan for at some point DC and the Absolute Universe to cross over? Is that what it is, or are they going to try to?
maybe.
You don't know.
Maybe.
I think for now it's
No.
like it's just sort of this
An imprint.
adult. Yeah, it's sort of with a more adult kind of titles.
If you guys remember, like the Black Label stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Black Label
Yeah.
stuff. But it's confined in its own little universe.
So at least they haven't had an incident with with Batman
Bat Wiener, Batwang. There we go.
Yeah, Batwang Part 2.
I've got that book. I've never opened it up.
I've got that.
I even got that.
So
I bought it, and
sign.
I bought 2 copies. I bought 2 copies to read. I bought because I like both covers, so I enjoyed the story. So I ended up reading it, and I'm like, why is this thing getting so? I didn't even reading it. You don't notice it until freaking people pointed it out. Like
until somebody points it out for you. Yeah.
So the problem with Absolute Batman, and just surface level, because I haven't read it. I'm sure if I read it, I'll.
Well, it's Scott Snyder. That's why so many people were behind it in the first place. It was Snyder. Snyder wrote Batman pretty well, so everybody got behind it because it was Snyder. And then Wonder Woman was unexpected. Everybody said Wonder Woman. Like a lot of the shops that I went to were like they ordered it, but they didn't order heavy because they didn't expect it to sell as well as it did. And
as
soon as it hit shelves, they went boom.
And then one thing. This is the thing. In a premiere issue, it's going to read well and sell. It's the second, third, fourth issues. How it progresses is where you're going to get a drop off.
But this is the funniest thing is like the shop I go to all the time. He always laughs. He goes, first issue always sells well. Second issue, still getting, like you said, getting to the third to the fourth issue. That's when
that's when you have to really grade whether it's good or not.
Right.
But one of the problems is
I have with the Absolute Batman. Okay, he's a Batman he's Bruce Wayne without money. His mom survived, right? His mom survives.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He has a mother figure, but he doesn't have a father figure.
Spoiler alert, guys!
And I'm just thinking, what? So the thing that makes Batman really Batman is obviously the drive to avenge his parent. Well, not avenge, but like do get rid of the elements that led to his parents' demise, right? And in this one, you just probably have an angry, right? Just an angry Bruce Wayne versus like, because he still has,
driven.
yeah, he's not as driven. He's still
But
got a parent, right? He's not.
I'm honestly curious because what the store, what the LCS guys been telling me, uh, it's interesting, but Selena Kyle, all his rogues gallery is his friends. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, because
so he's like
Killer
kind of like on the surface level, he's not a superhero. He's kind of like a deviant Batman. Sounds like.
we don't even, because we don't know where Selena Kyle, Killer Croc, all these guys are going to end up in the story anyways, because they're all Bruce's friends. That's the basis of it. So yeah, see. Mm-hmm.
Who's writing the Wonder Woman? Absolute Wonder Woman.
I forgot the writer. Yeah, but what I've heard, that's what I heard. Like from everybody else, is like they didn't expect the Wonder Woman to sell as well. Well, I wasn't surprised. It's the big three, so I'm like, Superman, So, but they didn't expect it because it's just Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? Like it ain't gonna. And then
Superman going around killing people is not like even Batman, right? Even Batman and Superman going around killing people, or
it's Kelly Thompson. Okay.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that comment said that Batman is basically like, it's written like he's the Punisher, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That the comment said.
No money. Duh.
Wow. Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Well,
I don't even see how he could be the Punisher though, because Punisher, what made him the Punisher is he served in Vietnam, right? Like so you just have this angry, poor guy who's just trained himself to fight crime, but he's not fighting crime; he's punishing people. Right. Just like there's just like it just is so far from the character we know. I don't know if it's.
I'm not going to say anything bad about it because I started off tonight by talking about how great the 90s were because DC took chances. So
now they're taking chances with
Absolute right here.
So I gotta let them take the chance and let it fail or succeed on its own. I'll try not to say that's not Batman, but
I have heard a lot of good things about it though. Like
I've heard both.
Yeah,
I've heard both good and bad. So hey, see how it does.
Yeah, we'll see how it does.
Yeah, I forgot to send it to you guys in the chat, but Frazetta Girls, Sarah and them are releasing a Vampirella action figure. So
nice.
That's a big deal for me. Yeah.
Oh, a Vampirella action figure.
Yeah, they've released them before, but never from Frazetta's IP though.
Right.
So now
it's a Frazetta
so it's like cover. It's like the Fire and Ice ones, like this one. Hold on.
I actually would want to get that one. The Vampirella.
It's like the Fire and Ice one. It's like the Tigra from the Fire and Ice. It's like this one. It's probably gonna be exactly like how this is set up. So
like in a box like that with the whatever else it has in it. Nice.
Yeah, nice. Tigra, and so it's gonna be so it's gonna be a vampy, like probably, so because nobody wanted to come out with the Fire and Ice stuff. Like
I love how you could like undress the lady if you wanted.
So
there you go.
Yeah, and awesome. You got her Panther and everything. So so that's gonna be Vampy's gonna so Vampirella's
are you gonna be able to undress Vampy? Is that the?
It's gonna be a pre-order, so I don't know if it's. I think it's gonna be just like the bikini on this one. It's gonna it's just gonna be like plastic or whatever. But it's cool. I mean, it's actually coming in from Frazetta and Dynamite's IPs, both of them. So because they own Dynamite owns Vampy since 2010. Because before that it was Harris, but the main reason Harris lost the license was because of Warren coming after him for releasing 113 as a magazine. Well, that's what the rumor was. That's the whole reason why the IP lapsed, and then the Dynamite ended up picking up at 2010. So, yep. So that's
so, I gotta ask you: did you watch Transformers 1? And
I did. I took my son to it. He told me he wanted to see it, so that was a pretty cool experience. That was a pretty cool experience that he wanted to see it. You know, watching it, I'm like, that's not the Transformers. That's not, he really liked the movie. So we even bought so we went to the theaters to see it. And then when I saw that it was released on streaming, I went ahead and bought him the movie to be able to stream too. So he, so when we're leaving the theater and we're talking about it in the truck on the drive home, he's like, I didn't know this was going to be Megatron's story. I didn't know we were going to find out the origin story of Megatron. I'm like, the trailer said that. You weren't paying attention. He's like, oh, I know what it said, but I thought it was more about Optimus Prime and his friend. I didn't know it was Megatron. And so it was pretty cool because I've been trying to get him into Transformers since he was born. And putting the 80s cartoon on is like, no, I'm gonna watch this, Dad. I don't want to watch that. So it was cool sharing the same love of Transformers with him. He's played with some of my Transformers toys and stuff.
I'm curious about the backstory of the fact that they were friends and then enemies.
He was fine with the lore. He liked that aspect of it. And I told him that's not how it was established for me when I was growing up. The Decepticons created Megatron, and as far as more of my lore follows the animated series, I didn't get a chance to read the comics when I was a kid because it was hit or miss. The Circle K may have it this week, this month, but you won't see another copy until 4 months later. So I never really got to read the comic. So my basis on the lore is from the animated series, and in their storyline, they talked about how they created Megatron because they needed, the ultimate Decepticon. But the friend trope has been done before from Transformers, and he was on board with it. So the Transformers has grown into such a big franchise that not everybody, it's not like Superman. We all know that he came from Krypton. His parents sent him from a dying planet. Everybody has their different lore. There's people that are fans of Transformers animated. There's people that are fans of Transformers Prime. There's some that are fans of all of it. I know a bunch of the Transformer fans are tired of the Generation 1 characters toys being made. They want to see their generation of toys be remade or be updated. So it's funny. But the only people that are wrong in the Transformers community, and this may get me in trouble, are the fans of the Michael Bay movies. Those are terrible. They're ugly looking toys. They're ugly looking Transformers. I tried to like the movies.
Although I will say, I will defend Megan Fox. Megan Fox.
I am not
for the Transformers movie.
Yeah, Megan Fox,
Fox, at least
man hands.
So, good years of when she was
I'm not a fan of Megan Fox. I thought she looked greasy and oily, but maybe that's what does it for you. Oh, that's funny.
I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad we're talking about Transformers because
you got Transformers 1 back there.
Oh yeah. I got the newsstand Canadian.
Like an original copy.
Yeah, this is the Canadian price variant newsstand.
I had a copy and I gave it back to Half Price Books, and I have not lived that moment down.
Oh, why?
I don't see. There's been various points in my collecting where I'm like, I need to downsize, and every time I've done it, it's been terrible. But I don't learn from my mistakes, and so whatever reason, I was like, I don't need this book, and then 20 years later, you're like, oh, if you kept that book,
that's a good book.
yeah. So I will never downsize again. If I do, it's going to be sold.
Working on a new project for the Transformers movie, and we're talking about live action here.
Yeah,
and it's come out that they're gonna introduce the Dinobots. the original Dinobots as they paired. Obviously, it's going to be in some, like it's not
They
going to be
have
in the cartoon form.
They have to change how it looks. They can't, Superman's costume can't just look like Superman's costume. We got to add texture, and it's got to look like this, and we got to make the S smaller. Like all the things that annoy us.
G.I. Joe would be in.
That's right. They're going to share a universe. That's right.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
I've never seen any of the G.I. Joe movies. Am I missing out?
Well, okay. I had high hopes for the Snake Eyes movie.
I forgot about the Snake Eyes movie. That's right. I forgot about that.
High hopes for it. And I'll add, I am a big. I read the Transformers, and the Transformers comics were not as good. I agree with you. The G.I. Joe comics were good though.
Once Larry Hama got on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it goes farther and deeper than the cartoons. In terms of the characters' backstories, and one of the cool things is that that kinship between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Now, this is the thing: like in the comics, Snake Eyes is blonde hair, blue eyed, like American soldier, and Tommy, who's Storm Shadow, is a Japanese American, and they served together in Vietnam. Okay, They changed that. They changed that in the Snake Eyes movie. They didn't serve together. They just kind of randomly meet, and Snake Eyes, who's Asian American in this version, kind of helps him out in the situation. And Tommy is he's Japanese American, but he's got his roots in Japan. So they just messed up the whole dynamic of the origin story, and then the movie was just not good. It was like the action was horrible, the acting was horrible. They filmed it on this like small like lot. It didn't have any like feeling of scale or significance.
Gotcha.
It was just a bad production, bad movie. They didn't put a lot of money or thought into it. And the other G.I. Joe movies, were a little better. The one with what's his face, Channing Tatum. Those were okay.
But didn't they kill him off in the second one so The Rock could be the star?
I didn't get that far. I watched like the first one, and it was that. I really feel like they should just do a comics version. Do G.I. Joe right. Get all the original toy, Generation 21. Get the Cobra,
let me see the Cobra guys in their crazy outfits. Let me see the Heat Viper in that yellow and purple outfit or whatever, or the Alley Viper in the orange and blue. Yeah.
Out again, we want to see
Snow,
the
or
Tomcat.
Funny name, Snow Job, and all those other ones.
I mean,
it's like,
yeah. But I hope they don't mess up Transformers and G.I. Joes. It would be just, I think, just a little part of me dying if they mess that up. A little part of my childhood dying. But hopefully they get it right.
That's all of our childhoods, man. It's G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, all that stuff. It's our, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Jeff, is Vampirella your favorite character?
Pretty much.
Or you just have a lot of stuff.
He loves.
No. Vampires were one of my favorites.
She had a movie, didn't she?
Yeah, 96.
Pretty bad.
And 90. Yeah. I forget I forget the lady's name that played her, but she played. If you watch the Mortal Kombat movie, she played Katana. And
that's not too bad then.
Yeah. Well, it is. The movie's straight B movie, like B movie status.
Did she?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: Did she?
It's free on YouTube. I can put it in our chat if you guys want to watch it.
She goes topless?
No. Actually, no.
Well, that's where
she
actually failed.
No, but because originally it was supposed to be Hammer Films that was supposed to produce it, and then it jumped through so many companies, and then it finally got made, and then the guy that plays Dracula in the movie is actually from a band. I forget the band's name. I forget the guy's name, but yeah. So he ends up in the movie. There's all kind. And then even Forrest J. Ackerman, one of the co-creators of Vampy, was in the movie. So
all right, it's Roger Daltrey from The Who.
Yeah, he plays yeah.
No.
He played
That's the
Vlad.
actress. Yeah, that's the actress's name.
And
Sounds bad already.
it's Talisa Soto. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a name I haven't heard of in a long time. She was very popular in the 90s.
Yeah.
Let's see.
She was in Mortal Kombat. And
all right, now
I'll go
Katana.
Look up this stuff.
Like I said, I can put it in the chat if you guys want to watch it because I've found it on YouTube for free. It's the whole movie.
See, I can remember, Wizard Magazine back in the day covered everything comics, and so I knew there was a movie made, and I know I've seen it, or at least parts of it, but I couldn't.
Look half bad.
Yeah.
No, she
She looks good.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It was just the outfit. The outfit was baggy though. Oh, if you actually seen the outfit, it was like. But I can understand why, because if you actually look at her outfit in comics, it's in real life.
It's kind of hard to make that happen in real life.
Not only that, but in real life, trying to have the person fight in it, it's gonna be
right.
A problem. So
this is gonna slip out. That's gonna show up.
Right. So.
What is it? Was it better than the Spawn movie from the 90s?
I like that Spawn movie. That Spawn movie.
They were both similar, but if you like B movie type stuff, it was like B movie. It was B movie-ish. But the funniest thing was Forrest J. Ackerman. So one of the co-creators was actually in it. So it was kind of because I didn't know nothing about it until like I read something about it and then actually rewatched it. He's actually in one of the scenes. He's actually in when she goes to like a nightclub and he's actually sitting in one of the chairs in the nightclub. So unless you know what he looks like, you would miss him.
You won't see him. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did he have anything to do with the production then?
What he's known for is Vampy, and then what he's known for is creating creating the term science fiction. Is Forrest J. Ackerman. So it was James Warren, Forrest J. Ackerman, Frank Frazetta, and Trina Robbins, and there's another one, Archie Goodwin. So those are the guys that created Vampy in general. Like those are the main. And then we lost almost all of them. And then Trina was the last one. Trina Robbins was the last one. And then we lost her this year. So that's anybody that created it. Yeah.
Why are there so many creators on that? What's the reason? But normally it's a writer
because
or artist.
Warren wanted a character like Elvira. So that's the whole story behind that. Was he wanted a character like Elvira. So he went to go look for somebody to create her. So Frazetta got involved, and then he wanted a story written. So James Warren, so Forrest J. Ackerman and Archie Goodwin came together and and created the story behind her. But the one thing was that Frazetta and James Warren ended up not arguing, but Frazetta wanted a blonde. James Warren wanted a brunette. So, but they compromised on issue 2. I'm so glad they
made her brunette, though. I mean, it would have been a different feel with a blonde character.
Yeah, I agree.
You did get a blonde. Issue 2,
or something like that.
It's her sister Draculina. So they did eventually get a blonde. But the funniest thing was, I read up on some stuff, and then, Forrest J. Ackerman liked the cover so much, liked the issue 1's cover so much from Frazetta, he had another artist recreate it with Draculina, so with the Vampy's sister. So there's a painting. So there's a painting out there that's not Frazetta's, that actually is Draculina, and it's from Forche Ackerman's collection. So, but I don't know if Forche had kids or not, and I don't know where that ended up. But I would be curious to see what it looks like now, like what that painting or whatever that is looks like now. So, like I said, cool. I know if you watched a couple of episodes before, like I said, I know a lot of stuff. It's kind of hard to make videos.
Piece it all together. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Man,
piece all this stuff together and stuff. So it's
all right, Fanboy. I got one more question for you. Now it's no secret you're a Superman fan, like I am.
What's up, Barbarian Kung Fu? I buy a lot of books from that guy. Great Instagram seller.
So
great friend too.
we are both
nice
fans, and the Gunn universe is going to get kicked off soon with the launch of they're just calling it Superman now. It was first
right. Got rid of Legacy, right?
Yeah. Now they're just calling it Superman. And we've gotten kind of teasers here and there. Just wanted to get your thought, like, first of all, get kind of your expectations for the movie, get your thoughts on what little news we've gotten so far in terms of casting and where it's heading in the direction. And just your outlook for, are you excited about that movie? Are you kind of dreading it? What are your thoughts?
I think you and I have talked about it before. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I have no high expectations for this movie. Like, I'm not a James Gunn guy. I enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Like, they're funny movies. They're good movies. They're fun. But all I can think about is sensitive nipples. Drax the Destroyer. Drax the Destroyer having sensitive nipples. All I can think about is Adam Warlock is a goof.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was bad. Yeah.
So like, I don't really know Drax that well. I know that's not Drax from the comics. I don't know Adam Warlock that well. I know that's not Adam Warlock for the comics. So I can't get as upset as hardcore Drax, hardcore Warlock fans. But I do know Superman. And I don't know. I like I have no high expectations for this movie. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna hate it just because it, whatever. We'll see what happens. That's my stance on it. I don't want to see trailers when they start coming out. Let me just go into the theater. Let me have as low of expectations as possible, because it's always better in life to be surprised than disappointed.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that one.
That's advice I don't follow, because I always go into like when I see trailers or something, I'm like,
oh, trust me, this is not the first movie I've said this for, and I don't stick to my plan. But that's my goal, is like to not investigate it as much as possible. I hear stuff about it, and I'm just like trying not to formulate an opinion, because also there's this thing where if we allow a little bit of negativity in ourselves, it always manifests and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
We let it marinate and just get worse and worse. So I hear something, I'm like, oh, okay. Because I have a few guys at work, one especially, like he's really into geekdom, and I'm trying to introduce him to the world of comics. Like, I'll tell him these stories that happen, and he's like, oh yeah, I watched that story on TikTok, and I'm like, dude, you've got to read it. Like, you've got to get in there and experience it.
It's like a comics story. Like they'll say, "Oh
yeah,
comics historian," or I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to read it too, man." It's
Comics Explained and Comic Story, and they're like, they turn it out. I'm like, yeah, dude, like that's cool, man, but you got to get into the story, because, like, I don't know, not every comic does it, but. Like, what is like a 24-page book? Is it about what they are after you take out the ads? Sometimes you can sit there and read that one issue, and it could take you 45 minutes, because you can hear every sound that the artist put on the page. They didn't put the word "pow," but what they drew and whatnot. Like, you can sink yourself into that setting, and you can feel it and whatnot. Now, I'm not gonna say every book does that. But like the good ones, the good stories, the stories that have held up, you can lose yourself in that. And I try to tell him, like, dude, like, I'll lend you these books. Like, I'm not going to lend you these ones that I know I got to take care of, but I'll lend you these books. Come on, man, and read it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of, he has mentioned,
That's
like,
why
oh,
I got
yeah.
trades. That's the whole reason I get trades.
that probably is the smarter route to take.
Yeah. That's
But
the whole reason.
yeah,
Hey, you got to read this here.
it's easy, right? Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. But as for Superman, like, I'm looking forward to seeing the movie because I want there to be a good Superman movie. Like, I want there to be. I didn't think Superman Returns was the worst movie in the world. There were things I would have done differently. I thought he needed to fight someone because everybody, when you go see a comic book movie, a superhero movie, you expect there to be a physical confrontation. And if you don't have that, if you have him just lifting a floating island made of kryptonite into the air and the kryptonite kills him or hurts him to where he falls back down to earth, you're going to disappoint people. You're going to disappoint people. And so either you need to give Lex Luthor his power suit, the awesome power suit, his war suit, his battle suit, you need to give him that, or you need to put a physical threat for Superman in that movie. We'll see. I mean, that's the plan and expectation for Superman Legacy / now Superman. We'll see. But I don't want to go into it thinking James Gunn is the savior of the DC universe as far as it pertains to movies. I refuse to believe that.
I want
my nipples hurt now.
I want the gun to speed, but I also think he has a really hard. He's got a really hard road before him because everybody already has the expectation. Oh, DC sucks. DC movies are no good. Unless it's Batman, we won't give it a chance. Yeah.
That's what he's walking into. So
he's literally just with the suit, right? The suit, you've already got people kind of entrenched in, oh, he's got to have the red trunks versus no red trunks. So he's already he's trying to appease those two.
Oh yes, that's a big issue with comics now too. But I won't get us in trouble with that.
Yeah, let's stay away from that because I think I don't think they'll go that far.
Like Barbarian said.
I hear his love interest is Lois, and unless Lois is not Lewis, we should.
You know what surprised me, and I watched like 3 episodes. I didn't fully get into it, but the TV show, the Lois and Superman show, the newest one. I don't know what it's called.
Lois and Lois.
Superman and Lois.
I think Superman and Lois. That's all. Yeah.
That was pretty good. I didn't hate it. I maybe didn't like his kids as much as I could have, but
the main the biggest thing with it now is because since Gunn's starting the universe,
they gotta kill all things.
They gotta kill it all.
Yeah, they killed. Yeah, so this final season, this is the final season.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a season you would like because it's actually the death. Superman.
Oh, is it Doomsday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh, they're gonna kill him off with Doomsday. That's messed up.
I was pleasantly surprised with that show, but like once again, I didn't I didn't know anything about it, so that helped too.
Well, I knew the chick that was playing Lois. I knew her from Grimm, the TV show Grimm. So I kind of figured it was going to be decent because she played two different characters in it. So yeah, and then
hopefully it's a box office success. And I don't think this movie will. What I'm excited about more than anything, and I've already seen it happen. So I already have seen it happen. Is this movie? The anticipation for this movie kicked off a Christopher Reeve documentary,
right?
That was launched, and what has heartened me is you see all these younger kids who are watching the Christopher Reeve original Superman movie for the first time. They've never seen it. They've never even heard of it, right? Which is mind-boggling to me. It's like a classic film, but they're watching it for the first time, and they're really getting like into it. Like, oh my god, you see that they're doing live watchings and stuff, and you see them being touched by these performances, amazing performances by Margot Kidder, Christopher Reeve, and it's building interest in Superman again. And I'm heartened by that, because I really feel like we've reached a point where, like, yeah, as great as the Henry Cavill Superman was,
he was brooding Superman. That's what that
it's
was.
not
Yeah.
character, right? Like the character
Yeah.
we love, like I felt like Smallville's the last really good Superman we've had, and it wasn't even Superman. It was basically everything leading up to him becoming Superman, right?
Right.
And that's what I'm excited about. I'm hoping the Gunn movie renews interest in Superman and has him at the forefront of comics again, because it's been just, like, as great as Deadpool and all these other characters are in the Marvel universe. Come on. Superman,
he started it off. He was the one that
Superman is
started
the
everything,
guy, right?
Yeah.
We want Superman to be back on top. We want people to be talking about Superman. We want people to be buying Superman books. We want the focus to go there, and that's what gives me hope. And it's a big ask of Gunn to do that. This film's just got to be like the next, like,
what's he? The biggest thing he's known for is to take B list, C list, and D list characters and boost them. So we might not even get a Doomsday. We might not even get the main bad guys. We might get like B list. Yeah,
Mr. Mxyzptlk will be the
yeah.
Superman matters. Superman
Right.
matters.
Right.
You guys follow Tall Clark on Instagram?
Not really.
Okay, so I'm not sure where he's from. He's from a different place. I don't know. I'm guessing South America, somewhere there. I could be wrong.
Oh, wait. The guy who, like, got the plastic surgery to look like Superman?
I don't know if he got plastic surgery, but he wears a Superman suit, and you'll see videos of kids running up to him. You'll see videos of him walking the street in a Superman costume, and old people are just amazed by what they're seeing. Like, Superman matters. And I just want a movie that shows, that captures that.
Absolutely.
And
yes,
he's the first, but he's also the best. And I've been tempted to put together this video on the channel of talking about why people, don't necessarily like Superman. And it's because we've lowered our expectations for ourselves in our own life. We don't expect the best for ourselves. We call Superman the big blue Boy Scout or whatever, because he's the too-gooder. But we let ourselves get away with things that we probably shouldn't let ourselves get away with. And even though he's not real, even though he's this fictional character, Superman matters. And we need a standard like Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said. Superman is he's not some fictional character. He can be real, because I think Christopher Reeve showed that, like, here's this guy who played Superman, but he was a real life Superman because of all the work that he did for his foundation. And it's just, we're talking about a character that's been around going on 100 years soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's
14 years away from it.
Yeah, he's as American as apple pie.
I thought he was already there, but he's 14. Okay, he's 14 years away from it. Okay.
Yeah. 1938.
Okay.
So it'll be here soon.
It'll be here soon, and that's the thing. I don't think the Gunn movie is going to either make or break Superman. His legacy in American culture. That's already
Yeah,
established.
no.
And it's nice to see that younger kids are recognizing that in whatever shape or form. I hope that continues. But yeah, if it would be nice to see Gunn hit it out of the park with this one. But that's a yet to be seen. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. All right. Well, 2 hours in.
Right.
This was great, man. Yeah. Should we make it a trio every week?
Why not? I mean, that's up to Fanboy. That's up to you.
Fanboy, I know you're stressed on time, but I don't know that I can. First of all, for coming on.
I don't know that I can be here every week, but I would love to come back and hang out with you guys. It's fun.
All right.
It's fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
It's fun to learn about, like, Jeff with the Vampirella, and it's like I don't know that side. I've always loved the art, and like if I buy those books, it's an art piece that I can show off or whatever.
Right.
So like last week when you were showing those books, I was just like, man, that's a beautiful piece of artwork right after the other. So
Jeff's been flexing all throughout this show. Hard to keep up. Hey, you got some artwork back there. Can you talk about the is that Battle Cat?
Where are you talking about? Here?
Yeah.
I don't know where my wife got this. Probably Temu.
Okay.
It's a cat like Hulk Hogan with a Dotson interviewing him.
From He-Man. I was like, what is that?
So no, my wife is responsible for the artwork on the wall, and she really likes this. I think it's like
meowing at me.
Is it Jolene Jones or something like that? That was doing Catwoman for a while. She really likes her portrayal Catwoman. So
wow.
And then there's a artist. He's always having prints that he sells there in San Antonio when we go to a show. So he's got this one of the creature underwater with some litter, the crushed can. And then he did this one that's the Sci-Fi Bride, which kind of looks like the Bride of Frankenstein. So
that is really that's a nice one.
She'll buy those prints. So yeah, she always wants me to make sure I let everybody know that the art on the backs behind me is not from me doing that. It's her. I got to give her credit.
Lady Pride is truly your better half. So
she's my she's my Lex Luthor to my Superman, my Roddy Piper to my Hulk Hogan. we're constantly feuding with one another. So
all right, well,
it's good. It's good times, man.
We want to thank you for again taking the time to come on and chat with us. What's coming up next for you?
I'm still gonna stick with doing haul videos for now until I get comfortable with what I would like to do with the channel. Hey, Miss So. Until I get comfortable with doing what I would like to do with the channel, I'll just show the books I have. I've said this before and people didn't believe me. Like, I have no aspirations of having a monetized channel. That's not what this is for. It's just for me to hang out with other comic book people, because I only have one friend that is really into comics. He lives 2 hours away from me, and when I get to see him, it's cool. We hang out, but there's a lot of times I don't get to see him. So meeting my friends online. Basically, my YouTube channel is my social media account. Instagram and YouTube.
Yep.
And so
same to all of us, man. That's all same here.
It's allowed me to meet.
Right.
It's allowed me to meet people I would have never met before. I met Jeff tonight. Would have never met him had I not gone on to YouTube. Maybe we would have crossed paths on Instagram, but it's a little different when you can talk and see video of one another. So yeah, I'll just keep.
Days we're all gonna end up somewhere and buy comic books.
My desire is to go to Heroes Con and meet everybody else that hangs out. Like I was mad that I didn't go this past year. So
Heroes is still a bit. I want to go.
It's kind of out of your way. It's really out of your way.
But Heroes. I mean, if you're a comic book person, Heroes is the place, pretty much.
That's what I hear, and so
yeah. Because I went this year.
Jim's there. Jim is there most of the time.
Yeah, I went last year. Yeah, I went last year, and dude, you would have to take all 3 days just to walk the whole
thing.
Floor.
Yeah,
yeah, because they're the artists in general, the vendors, dude, the vendors and artists were about the same amount of people. So it was like, holy crap! It's like it takes you 3 days just to walk the whole. Like you'll miss things. Like if you only do 2 days, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that was over there. You know, or this little corner had a shot. I've never seen so many vampy ones in one place. So yeah.
Barbarian says he'll be at HeroCon. The Symbiote Club is talking about getting the table. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of my goals for 2025. I said that for 2024 and we didn't do it, but maybe 2025 I'd try to do that.
I mean, it's ways out, so it's all the way into June. So you got all.
Yeah, I got time. So we were talking about going to WrestleMania this year, but then I hear how much the prices are in Vegas, so I don't know if that's going to go down or not.
No.
There's got to be a Vegas con. That'd be actually.
There is. It's I forget the day. I forget the con, but yeah, there is.
I think there'd be a lot of that. Getting a bunch of nerds in Vegas together might be a little dangerous.
I tried to tell Otaku that I was going to go visit him and he would let me sleep on his couch, but he didn't. Say his wife didn't like the sound of that one or something like that.
No, dude, you can anytime, dude, anytime.
Oh, okay. So you are fine. Okay, I thought it was a no. But that's another cool thing about utilizing YouTube to meet people. You know, like I can travel here and I'll have someone to meet up with. You know, now I'm not saying I'll stay at their place, but like, hey, you can show me the spots to go to. You can show me the spots I don't know about. So that's cool.
Yeah,
cool. Even people from Germany, free people from you would have never met. Like I've met Varangian Vigilante. Like I would have never met him if I wasn't doing this. So, yeah.
WrestleMania.
I've been to 5 WrestleManias, but it's been if I go to 41, it'll be 9 years since the last one I went to. I went to the 2 in Houston. I went to 1 in Dallas. I went to 32. I went to 1 in Phoenix, and then I went to the 1 in New Orleans. So
sweet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've had fun every time I've gone to WrestleMania. So but the tickets just looking like it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah,
I don't know.
In Vegas, I'm not surprised. In Vegas.
Yeah. So.
All right, man. Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, guys. We're getting out of here, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys for having me.
See you
Seriously,
guys.
I have no issue coming back on.